Yo, what's going on, everybody? This your boy Sean, aka Puff Comics 83, and we are back with another episode of Talking Films. I'm joined by my co-host BV, and we are talking Dazed and Confused. School time is here, and we're talking about a film that's getting out of school, but still, it has the essence of that school feel. How are you doing, BV? What's going on?
Doing well. I see we both have the same opinion. What is the most powerful quote in the movie?
Yes. Only thing is I spelled use the way he said it, but it's still the same quote. When I heard that quote, I was like, yeah, that's my quote on tomorrow's show. So when I saw that you had it, I was like, yep, that quote affected us.
Good choice. All right. It's such a classic movie. I think it's an instant classic because I think it came out like beginning of the 90s, and I was watching it first when it was on free TV when I was 14, and ever since, like, I fell in love with this movie. And when I was a teenager, and basically I was like in the position, just finishing high school and going like to business school later. Even though it plays in Texas, but it was still very much relatable because at that age you want to get drunk and you want to pick up girls. Of course, in Austria, it's the legal drinking age is 16, but also when you're 14, if you drink beer, nobody minds. It's basically. So I was drinking.
Go pick up a 6-pack.
Yeah, that's no problem here. Basically, it's I was picking up 6-packs since I was 13. I stopped drinking alcohol when I was 22 because actually, I never enjoyed it because it doesn't taste good. And it's another thing, peer pressure.
But the whole thing, it doesn't taste good. But you gotta fit in with the cool people, so you're like
exactly, and that's the thing. And when I was 22, I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not even enjoying this." It's
like when you smoke weed, and it's like I dabbled with weed during my high school years, but I never really stayed with it.
I never smoked weed. I didn't even smoke a cigarette in my life.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, I was always very much against smoking, but of course, with the alcohol, like in Austria, beer is such a natural thing. It's almost like when I was, when you were like 6 years old, you were asking your relatives if you can just have a sip or something, and like, yeah, sure.
And they point the weed. They're like, "Yo, Sean, take a toke, man." I'm trying to fit in, so I'm like, "Hey, I'll take that toke."
But yeah, this parties is like absolutely. It's also relatable, of course, when you're like a home party because the parents are gone and they find out.
The beer man came with the jugs too early. What's up, man?
Yeah.
And then as soon as the father sees that, you're like, "We're staying."
There's also I still remember, it was a beer was not a problem, but I remember, before going out that you put we call it like a Flügel, it's a vodka Red Bull. So basically we just filled it in sports drinks. And it's like, "Oh, we're going out," and my mom is like, "Wait a moment. Can I have a sip of the sports drink?"
Hey, that's another thing about those parties back in the day. Like, you gotta watch out for the juices because they'll spike it with the alcohol.
Oh my god! I remember I was once at a party when I was in business school. It was the first year. There was this huge party at somebody's place, and I was like, I was so fucking drunk, and I was like, I need water. And there was like a mineral water bottle. So I took a healthy garden, this fucking vodka,
They like, "Water? You better go to the store to get water because we ain't not drinking no water here." Yeah, the party life is crazy, and this movie really Like the whole point at the end where they just out and about having a good time, partying, getting drunk, smoking pot and everything. It's like it's a fun time, but at the same time, it's just them living their life.
Yeah. Actually, also another quote I really like. Like when Floyd said that, if these are the best years of my life, then please shoot me. This is also something I can very much relate, because also, like I said, you basically school, you survive it. What I hated most about it was that you were like the slaves of fucking teachers, and it didn't matter if it was a pupil or a student, you were in the right or not. Fuck it, like when the teacher said you're wrong, then you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I really hated this, and I was very much like I would say a rebel, but I only accepted authority when a teacher was knowledgeable, and I could sense, okay, the teacher is a good one. But when the teacher was stupid, that I had zero respect, and then I also like did whatever fucking wanted to, and that got me in. Like, let's just say I had many sessions at the principal's office.
Hey, there was always like 3 sets of teachers at school: the teacher that you didn't respect, the teacher that you respected, and then there's that one teacher that you absolutely feared, because they were not only good at their job, but they were so intimidating and so ruthless at how they did their teaching. Like, you did not want to go to that class. And I remember I had a math teacher in summer school, and he was ruthless on how he's from the Caribbean, so you know how they are with their accent and their talk. Man, I remember taking the final exam last day of summer school, and he stood over me for 15 minutes watching me struggle on the question. It was hot, I'm sweating, and he's standing there watching me struggle, and I'm like, man, shit, I don't know what the fuck to do. And then when I gave him the paper at the end, bro, he roasted the fuck out of me. Literally, in front of the whole class. Made me walk out of there shameful. The following school season, I got another math teacher. He right next door. The room is overcrowded and it's full. He comes in the room. He said, "I'll take a few students off your hand." Bro, you could hear a pin drop. Nobody was saying anything. They were trying not to look. I'm looking down like, I hope he don't pick me. I hope he don't pick me. And he picked like 6 students, man. And I was like, whew, thank God.
Yeah, it's, there's some teachers where also, like, I remember I was just talking with like the guy next to me on the seat, and suddenly felt something, and the teacher threw the keychain at me. Let's just say 90s school in Austria, pretty much you still got beaten as a pupil.
Bro, we were just talking this last weekend with Steve and them. It's like, bro, what? Back in the day, teachers used to put hands on students.
Yeah,
they got out of hand. Nowadays, they can't do that, or they get, the parents of school and all that stuff. So now the teachers are getting run over by the kids today.
Yeah. I do have to say, there should be a certain limit. Like, for example, we had one teacher that dislocated the shoulder of a pupil. And, like, that's a little bit too far. But, sometimes, like, a healthy slap, let's just say, I earned those.
Especially if you're being disrespectful to that teacher, that has to stand up.
Yeah, let's just say, like, everything that I got, I really earned, but the poor guy with the dislocated shoulder, like, there's a certain limit of disciplinary.
And you know what? That makes me think, like, this movie, Dazed and Confused, like, it focuses on the aftermath of school season, 2 days after, but it, like, can you imagine this movie set during the school and how the teachers can deal with this?
It would be interesting because you saw like a little bit, of course, the teachers in last school day when the freshmen, asked if, every minute you let us leave early. It's like we have a chance to get away from like the seniors. And I love the teachers, like my officer in Vietnam said, you're going into a channel. 50 of you going into the channel, 25 will make it back.
Or when you thinking of cutting the class, but then your presence is right there, and the teacher's like, "Oh, you decided to grace us with your presence?"
Yeah.
And then you like, "Fuck it, now I got to go in."
Yeah. I mean, it was also like, I just reminds me like one day we skipped school because we didn't prepare for the math test, for the mathematic test. And the next morning we came to school and the son is like, "Why are you here today?" It's like, "Yeah, because yesterday we skipped the math." Didn't know it's today. It's like, fuck, so we quickly turned around. It's like, nobody saw us, so it's that fast.
Yeah, it really like brings back the memories. And I was telling Steve and them like, yeah, we talking Dazed and Confused. They're like, "Oh, that's a good movie right there. It really takes me back."
And
It's
it's such a timeless movie, that even though it plays like in the 70s, it's teenagers never change. Even though some things like the technology, so I think we were both still lucky that we were teens. There was like no smartphones, and basically when you were out, you were out. Like, there was...
Go ahead, finish.
Yeah, there's nothing your parents could do. Of course, once you came home, you got like the punishment, but when you were out, then it's like, I'm gonna get punishment at home, let's make it count.
And it makes me think like, damn, you know what? I also want to talk, if we do this next week, we can do House Party with Kid and Play. Man, that movie is all about the setting up of the party, and the parents. You got your one friend that always do you dirty, but he's your loyal friend and stuff. So maybe we could do that next week if we can.
Yeah, I'll check it. I don't think I've seen that movie. So.
Yeah, but Dazed and Confused also deals not only with the life of teenagers, but it deals with the peer pressures that you go through as a teenager. And when it comes to the freshman class, they had to deal with Baron, the hazer, the super senior, played by Ben Affleck. And I'll say that he fit the role perfectly, even though he said that he disliked it.
Yeah.
He just comes off as such a smug jerk that you're like, yeah, he's perfect.
It was like his first Batman
And the way they were just waiting on those freshmen, it's like those are the super seniors, the seniors, or any type of bully that will wait after school just to get at.
And also like they really show, with the hazing, there's some people that do it out of tradition, but then later, they're gonna hand you a beer or they invite you to a party, and then there's like dickheads like Ben Affleck and Bennett, who just do it out of spite and because they're clearly not happy with themselves.
And out of enjoyment, you can just tell he thoroughly enjoyed embarrassing the freshmen.
Yeah, he lived for that day.
Just like Mila Djokovic loved doing it to the females.
She did not the hazing. The hazing was done by the other chick. Mila Jovovich just was high the whole movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. I thought it was her. But yeah, the female side of it, I thought they suffered worse. Like at least with the men, they just spank you with the cricket bats and that was it. The woman, you got to be completely degrading themselves just to join the club. It's
And
crazy.
this is why I don't put women in positions of power, because they're way more cruel than men.
It's crazy.
I thought this is bitter small. I love this movie. And the other great thing is, there's not really a protagonist in this movie.
No, the whole movie focuses on variety, the ensemble cast, and there's like not one single protagonist. It's all about all these various teams and living their life through these 2 days. And you get to see different viewpoints on how they feel about their life and what's going on.
Also, you really got a nice overview of the structure of the class. You had the jocks, then of course you had like the slackers and everything. Those are the guys still remember from school. I don't know if it's still nowadays like that, but back then I do remember. When there was maybe it's also of course in smaller towns. That when there was a party, when there was an event, everybody was there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter which kind of group they belong to.
And then once you get past certain parts of the hazing, we see the one freshman boy, Mitch. He starts to get a bit more respected as he hang out with them, because he gets the beer. He's getting the girl and stuff like that. So he's slowly earning respect. They trying to kick him knowledge, but he's doing things in his own way, and it works out fine for him. Even though he got in trouble with his mom, but even she let him slide. And I'm like, that shit wouldn't flew by with me. Like
I also remember when we were basically, I think. Of course, we have a different school system here in Austria, but what was our senior year, we also had a younger guy there who paid his dues. But of course, he also had to drink everything we drank. And I remember I was just in the Irish pub and going on the toilet, and suddenly I saw him running, vomiting, running.
Yeah, it's like when you watch this film, it just takes you back to when certain things happen to you.
Yeah, I really truly hope that kids nowadays still have the same enjoyment in their lives, even though everything is more controllable these days. Everything is a little bit more polished.
I can't imagine a smartphone being around during this. Because can you imagine everything being recorded, photos being taken?
Let's just say I'm very happy that there are no recordings of me when I was that age.
Same. Because everything is on record now. You put it on the internet. And then you had the whole point, like another part of the initiation. If you want to be a part of the club, you got to ride in the car and destroy property, destroy mailboxes, throwing a damn bowling ball inside the fucking computer.
Yeah, which almost it's was ended in the most tense scene in the movie, when the one guy then followed them and put them at gunpoint. Where it's damn.
It's you see, you almost lost your life because of your bullshit.
I mean, it's fucking Texas.
Yeah. But at the same time, people in Texas don't play. You destroy their property, they will chase you.
It's when I was watching it when I was 14, and of course I didn't have all the knowledge I have today. I just thought this is everywhere in America like that.
People don't play with their property. Can you imagine waking up in the morning and seeing a fucking bowling ball in your car after your back window gets destroyed?
No. I also think this movie it's also interesting when you watch it, when you're the age group, and then when you watch it when you're old, and you can totally feel like with the parents and the teachers
Yeah,
and the
adult.
coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you feel like these fucking teenagers, you know. And then as a teenager, you're like, fuck those adults, man. Ah.
Yeah, it's like, why they didn't let the kids party at their home? It's like there's lots of, and then, when you're older, it's like, yeah, the dad actually doing it quite well.
So it's like you see both sides of it, and it's like as an adult now, he's like, yeah, I feel for those adults because they went roughshod on them, and it's like, no. But as a teenager, he's like, you just live in the moment.
Yeah.
You live in the moment. You're enjoying time with your friends, and you're trying to fit into their society.
And you can't die. At least that's the thing you think back.
Unless you're being chased by Ben Affleck, then that's like a different type of death.
Because I also remember, being drunk and then you're like, hey, there's a construction site, let's climb.
Yes, we do the stupidest things available. And again, it's like you're being pressured to do it because you're trying to fit in.
Yeah, because you don't want to be like the odd one out.
Yeah, you're conflicted, but at the same time, you're already in the situation where it's either do or die.
Like I say, the good thing in our class was that on the one hand we were like nerds, on the other hand everybody did sport. So we were like basically the comic book guys who were also the bullies.
and another part that had me kind of heated when the other three friends of Mitch, they was at the little party, and then they interrupted one friend who was getting on with the girl. He was scoring. It's like, yo, and then as soon as they leave, O'Bannon shows up and he's the one getting
I'm
like, come on, man, y'all done messed my night up.
Like he was clearly like an overachiever in that moment. It's like, then leave the guy. Like he's like he's at least finger fucking her like so it's like
he did his job and y'all come and ruin it.
Yeah, that was like the single golden rule back then with us at least. When somebody scored, that person you let them be. It's like
don't try and disturb. Don't disturb this groove.
And at that age, it's so tough to like because there's always people like fucking Matthew McConaughey, like that basically like swoop in and take the chicks from you.
Because he sure did love that redhead when he saw her.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matthew McConaughey, man, this was his breakout role. What put him on the map? And you like the character is so laid back, such a weed head, but at the same time, he had that mixture of he was slightly older, but he still kind of fit in with that crowd because he didn't want to move on. And there was a lot of those, when I saw like teenagers who already graduated like 2-3 years ahead of me, but yet they kept coming around to hang out with us because they couldn't leave that life.
Yeah, and it's the same here. There were people like that, and when you were like teenager, you thought, "Wow, those people like are so cool." And I remember once what my mother told me, because we also had somebody like that, and it's like, how cool can he be when he hangs around like 40-year-olds?
And it's like for him, like he graduated, but he don't want to really move on. So he comes back to hang out with us like he's still part of the school. But then you got people like O'Bannon who didn't graduate, get left back, gotta stay another year. And like, bro, ain't you supposed to move on? Nope, I'm still here to terrorize you.
Yeah. I'm so happy like those days are over.
But another thing though, this movie really like showed it is that when you're in school, especially high school, you could not wait to graduate and get out of school.
Yeah.
But then as you're an adult, you start reminiscing about the fun times you did have, and you're like, damn, I miss my friends, man.
I have to say that I absolutely fucking hated school. Did I have a lot of fun? Yes, despite everything. I hated the fucking teachers. I hated the fucking system, and
it's the system, the teachers you hated. But when you look back at the fun times I had with friends, like we used to go after school to Times Square. You know, take the subway all the way up to Times Square. This is when TRL and MTV was still big, and we used to see some of the stars. We told Eminem to suck it when he was outside with it. But we did wrestling moves and shit like that. Man, we were crazy. With WWF Attitude Era, the NWO, we were doing all that shit in high school. And it's like, damn, we were some wild kids back in the day. And it's like, sometimes you think back on that, like, man.
I remember like our gym class teacher, like he was bald and he had like a goatee, so we had like a Goldberg poster on his desk.
Goldberg. You don't want him spearing you though. We had the coolest gym teacher in high school, man, because we used to always go to the park and play baseball or softball and basketball and stuff like that. But compared to when I was in junior high, we had that fucking Army drill sergeant gym teacher who would make us do Army-style push-ups where we gotta go halfway up and hold it for 10 seconds. He like, I hated that motherfucker.
We had before that the gym teacher wanted us to do fucking gymnastics. What the fuck? Like...
So there's a point where you reminisce about the good times and the bad, but then it's overall you just think of the fun times you had in school. You know, cutting class and going outside being chased by. Remember when we talked juice and we talking about the truant police? And like, we literally got chased by the truant police because they were out just to catch kids who were cutting classes.
We don't have that here.
You're fortunate because we literally had people we had to escape from.
I remember that like we basically faked taking part like in a football tournament because we wanted to go to the mall. So we like made like this fake application and everything. It's like, oh yeah, we can't come like this Saturday to school because like we had Saturday school at one year before they changed it. And then basically everybody was just like, let's go to the mall.
So like movies like this really like takes me back, you know, and then you had your friends that you hung out with and you just go on a ride, you know, you can't wait to go to the party, and then the party gets stopped and you're like, well, we got another party set up here, so meet us on this location. And then
the only thing that this movie is a little bit unrealistic, I mean, I don't know how it is in the US, but when you're 14, it's very tough to pick up chicks.
Well, I think this movie kind of makes it way too easy.
That.
But they were all potheads. Like the whole damn school was potheads. So between the weed and the alcohol, it was like you put them all in one area and you could just get any chick you want.
Here, like I said, it was like tough because of the creepy guys, you know, that basically picked up cool girls. It's of course like let's just say I had way more success in my 20s.
Yeah, but the overarching theme of life, you know, we're introduced the character Randall Pink Floyd, the star football player.
Yeah,
and I like how the movie structured it as at the beginning, the gym teacher telling him about, you know, the importance of, you know, signing the paper and being committed to the football team and stuff. But he's very against it because once you put your name on it, that means you're restricted from doing certain activities. And it's like, I want to do these activities. This is what life is about, enjoying. And the whole point of many conversations throughout the film is enjoying your time now because it's not going to last forever.
Yeah. I do have to say the only thing I regret is that I stopped playing football in the club because because I chose pen and paper role playing games.
My biggest regret was not keeping up doing art. I used to draw a lot of art when I was younger. Going back to like when I was like a kid drawing Sonic and Super Mario, and then going into high school, Dragon Ball Z was the big thing. So we used to do competitions on Goku, Vegeta, and all that. And then I just kind of stopped because I felt like my art wasn't as good as my other friends, and I just gave up on it, and I haven't picked up anything since. And I kind of wish I stuck to doing it because I could have grown and gotten better at it. But I just gave it up, and I look back at it, I was like, I threw away all my old art, and I wish I didn't because I would have loved to see that progress of how I went from Sonic to DBZ.
That's understandable. I sadly I have no artistic talent. I was a very good striker, and I think I could have made a career because I had like a golden foot. It didn't matter what I do, I always scored.
Nice.
Which I also realized later when I was playing just hobby football, like later indoor, and we won a cup, and it's just I had a magic foot. I knew where the fucking goal is.
And that, like, this movie like highlights the choices that you have to make, whether or not you want to sign that paper and be the committed to that team, or do you just want to say no, I don't want to sign it because I don't want to lose the activities that I normally do. Because once they put that restriction on you, then they might make life a living hell because you're trying to break that restriction.
I can totally see both sides. I can also totally understand the coach. When you're like an adult, it's like, hey, I actually know what's best for you. But of course, people also have to make their own mistakes. You gotta let them make their own mistakes.
Yeah, and like the conversation they will have, the redhead and the two others was when they were driving is like, what is life? Like, what are we really purposely for? And it's like, well, we just want to enjoy it now because once we get older, it's like we're not going to enjoy life. Bills are going to come, family and stuff like that. So just fucking live in the moment for now. And what was it? She said that I don't want to focus on the future. I just want to focus on the present time.
And I have to say that luckily, that I remember being that age, and it's like you basically were thinking once you're like 30 your life is ending.
Yeah,
but I have to say, like, I have the best life that is possible because luckily I can follow my dreams, and if my teenage self would see me now, he would be very happy.
But again, it's like as a teenager, you can't really predict that.
Yes.
So it's like it's either you live now or you just start preparing for that future.
Yeah. Because back in the day, you thought once you're 30, you're gonna get a belly and the hair fall out. Luckily, that this was not the case.
And you know how back when our grandparents and stuff were growing up, like they aged a lot quicker.
Yes.
Like by the time you're in your 30s, you already got the wrinkles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people are trying so hard to look young at 60. I'm like 60 years old. Yeah. You walking around looking like you 30.
Because I remember, when because with my parents, I was every weekend also at when there was football there, and you saw the people and when I was a kid, I saw them when they were old, and they're still alive. And when I see them, it's like they're still old. It was like this Hulk Hogan, the people that were 50 years old the whole life.
That's why I'm waiting for a strand of gray hair to pop up more on your head, because I got all the gray coming through on me. I'm like, and that was in my late 20s when I first saw my gray hair. I was like, no, that means I'm old. I
have a few gray here, and a little bit in the beard, but I'm shaving every day. But luckily, this is as straw blonde as it gets, and and the secret of it is not having stress.
Yeah. My work life stressed me out. That's why I got all that. But and again, that's another point of living in the moment, stress free, smoking all the weed, drinking all the alcohol, having all the girls. You just want to enjoy that moment. And I like the booking at the end with the whole thing with the coach when they was on the football field, and what's the name, the quote that we both use, just gotta keep living.
Yeah.
And when the cops showed up and they called the coach, Pink just decided to not sign the paper and toss it in the coach's vehicle. He's like, I'm going to be a part of the football team, but I'm not going to restrict my life activities.
Yeah, and I think that was a choice.
There's always a choice.
There's always a choice, and you always think, hey, if I'm the quarterback, it's like you can make your rules a little bit more yourself, and yeah, and some teachers might overlook some shit. I mean, we didn't have this here in Austria with school sports that much. There's like dedicated sports schools, but we don't have like this. There are school football leagues, but it's no way like the American high school football, like that. It's like this big thing, this college thing, yeah.
So it's like you always got to have choices, and that's another thing too. Like especially back in like going into junior and senior year, they are really, really pressuring you to make choices.
Yeah,
college choice. What you're gonna do in life. What's gonna be your future outlook. They throwing all of this information on you, and they putting the pressure on you to like make a choice.
I had absolutely no idea. Because I remember this bullshit, and they were always like they're always like pushing you towards something. It's like that sucks. That's not me. So actually, I had to make like my own way. But of course, then that's also like when you have to make some mistakes. Like for example, like I did like business school. I wanted to do actually something, that's more about writing and everything. But of course, everybody said, no, you gotta do business school. Then that was, well, I finished it. But then of course, here's like you have to go to the military for a few months. Then I worked I applied for a job and I hated the job. And then after like 4 years of that, I was like, fuck the shit, I'm quitting, I'm going to university.
Yeah, like at least you made that choice as opposed to somebody, constantly pushing these choices onto you, and your brain is scrambling to say, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And that was so fucking hard. Those last couple years in high school, it's like, what am I gonna do? They always ask you the question, what do you want to do in life?
Yeah.
And I hated that question the more I grew older, like, because I'm like, life is what you make it.
Yeah.
Like you said, mistakes happen. It's how you grow from those mistakes. So sometimes it's best to just make life choices that you feel is necessary, and whatever mistakes come, you just have to deal with, because there's always bumps in the road. There's always a fork in the road that's going to take you down a different direction. You're just going to have to handle it in a way that you can manage it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, don't have to be afraid. You can always go back to a life you hate.
If all things fail, just go back to what was life.
Because
But
I also want, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I also was at that point where I was like, I absolutely hated my job, and I was like, is this it? Is this it until I'm old? It's like, no, it can't be. I have to quit.
And sometimes it's not even the job that's bad; it's the people around it. And like the job I work is pretty easy and stuff, but it's the fuckers on day shift that always fucking with me and shit like that. It's like, man, fuck these assholes. They don't like it because I'm doing well, so they want to try and give me shit for it. And I'm like, and that's the thing. It's like sometimes it's the people that you gotta deal with, like the fucking O'Bannons and shit like that.
Fuck the day shift.
Fuck the day shift. But yeah, it's like people like the O'Bannons and stuff. Like you can tell, like he's gonna become a fucking sorry ass boss that's trying to bully people and stuff. And that's why how they got him was great. Loved it because he was in his feelings when they got him with that the paint.
Absolutely, yeah. This movie it's just such an experience, and you also have so many actors in there that made it big afterwards. Of course, Matthew McConaughey, then Mila Jovovich. Naturally, she actually quit acting for a while after this movie because I think the pay was so. Never they cut out so many scenes with her. But of course, luckily came back to acting with The Fifth Element, and I still think she's amazing in the recent Hellboy movie.
The recent one. Yeah.
I'm one of the only few people who really love that movie, and I think it's even better than the Perlman movies. But yeah, that's me. And then of course you have Ben Affleck in there.
Cole Hauser.
Also, yeah, Jason London, who I just actually found out now that he's the brother of Jeremy London.
Yeah, this like the cast in this film is amazing. Everybody, and I really want to get the props to Richard Linklater. He really let the cast dictate their characters. You know? Yeah,
it's like you can totally see that there were like awkward acting scenes, but they feel so naturally because teenagers are awkward.
Between the teens that are naturally shy and stuff, to the teens that like to tell you this and that, you know, to the bullies. It's like everybody played their part so well.
Yeah. And of course, like you already said in the pre-show, when they talk this movie, you have to talk the soundtrack.
Yes. The score of all the 70s hits, amazing. It's and like when they play the song, I'm like, I'm into it because I love that song growing up.
And this is also what the director said, like, he only wanted songs in there that were around in that era.
Yeah. And music is a big part of growing up, you know.
I still have a little cold.
Music is a big part of it, and your environment that you're in, music is gonna play a huge role because your friends gonna be like, yo, you got the new album, this, you know, Queen and all that stuff. Like, so it's gonna play a huge part of how your teenage life, man. Because by the time you hit your teenage years, you have an idea of what music you like.
I'm still listening to the same fucking music, like.
Oh yeah.
Still listen to black metal. I remember, being 14 and for the first time, listening to black metal and being at a black metal concert is like, damn.
And I grew up in such a diverse group. And, hip hop and stuff was huge, but I still love listening to the classics. You know, the Earth, Wind, and Fires and the Temptations and stuff, because that's what my parents and my grandparents.
And of course, this movie also has a song in there, which harkens to a movie that we have to talk in the future.
Yeah.
Can you guess it?
Nope.
Bob Dylan.
What?
Story of Hurricane Carter.
Hurricane Carter. Yes, we definitely got about that.
And we gotta talk about the Hurricane Carter movie. I remember watching that one in cinema back then. Excellent movie.
Yes, that's really good film.
And fantastic song by Bob Dylan.
But yeah, I love the themes of this film. You know, this film, like you said, is generational. You can watch it at any time. You can show your kids this film. Be mindful, you know, they gotta be a certain age to watch it. But then when they watch it, they're gonna feel like, you know, oh, that's not me. When technically, that's what you're gonna become. You just gotta be mindful of how your surroundings are with the people you're being, because peer pressure is a major thing.
It's
as a teenager, you know, and you're trying to fit into a life that, you know, people are gonna, you know, question you know, whether you're cool or whether you're down with us, and sometimes you have to make that important decision. You're like, yeah, I don't want to be down with them. I want to be down with these friends. You know, like friends that you look up to. You know, you don't want to fit in with the cool crowd because sometimes that can get you in trouble.
I was the bad influence.
And like I said, there's so many things in this movie that was just so relatable, you know. And I thought the ending was perfect.
Yeah, because there is basically not really an ending. It's just like it shows you how the day ends for some of the characters, and you can totally also see like what is their outlook. But it's just, you know, it's sort of like a time capsule into the 70s, and I think it's probably the best coming of age movie, if you want to call it like that.
I will say that another part that resonated with me was when they were walking by and he's like, "Oh, somebody, you know, they're smoking pot here." Mm-hmm. And then the guy took offense to that and approached him about it and wanted to start some shit. That's real right there. Because,
yeah.
You know, some people just think you're assuming you talking about them and they just want to approach you and start some shit. And I felt you feel for the character that took that in, because it's like you're thinking, man, I'm gonna get payback on that guy, you know, because he, you know, trying to insult me and then start some shit.
Yeah, because there are some people who just looking for an excuse.
Yeah. I wish he would have did a better job at coming back at him, but, you know.
Well, let's just say, like, he somehow he fucked so much up that he got what he deserved.
But, yeah, that resonated with me, because that happened to me once, and I was like, you know, you can't even go and have a good time without somebody trying to start something with you. And it's like, what the fuck? Why are you even fucking with me?
I remember that one time, like, the guy tried this, who came like from another school to ours and thought he could make fun of me because, like, I'm a nerd, not realizing that we were like running the school. So like he actually tried, and I beat him up so bad.
That's another thing.
And like his head against the radiator.
But that's another thing. Like, rival schools was a big part of my high school. Because my high school was downtown Brooklyn. We had a school like maybe a few blocks away, and we were like rivals. Like, every time we saw them, just some Western House boys, you know, and stuff like that. So we always had some beef with another school that we get into like fights with.
Yeah, here it was like the neighbor village, because they didn't have their own school, so they sent their kids like to our school, and of course we were not very welcoming to them, naturally, because they're all fucking farmers.
Yeah, we always had some names for them, man. But yeah, the film was amazing, man.
Yeah,
great choice for this one.
Yeah. I'm losing my voice.
But yeah, I know I mentioned the house party earlier, but also like 3 o'clock high. I want to talk. Like, I'm in the school mood now. Like, after days, we could do 3 weeks of school films.
Yeah, until then we have like the 5 Heartbeats. Yeah, and I haven't seen both movies, so I have to check where to get them. But I'm up for broadening my horizon.
Hey man. So we can do 3:00 high next week.
Yeah.
And then house party after that.
Yeah.
So I can set those up.
September. Looking forward to it. Finally, autumn.
And to think about, like, growing up, September was the most dreadful month because that was the month school started for us. So it's like, it's funny how we're talking these school movies and school done started up for certain states and stuff. So,
but should I say, like, I have birthday in July, which is the month where everybody's on holidays, or nobody had time for my birthday parties when I was a kid, which probably is the reason why I really hate birthdays.
it sucks, man. Can't win.
Yeah.
Hey, like, hey, my birthday's today. Like, what? We on holiday, man. Sorry.
Exactly. It's basically everybody was on fucking vacation.
Which takes me back to those road trips I used to have going down south.
Which also one of the fantastic movie, of course, is Tiny Toons, the movie.
Yes, the Tiny Toons film. Man, that was fun.
Tiny Toons was the shit.
I used to watch that cartoon religiously. After school, I got to get home and get Tiny Toons.
And played it on the Super Nintendo, the Tiny Toons game.
Yep.
Which is actually a really good American football game in there.
But yeah, anything else you want to add to this film?
Just like I said, it's basically a movie doesn't really has like big of a plot. It's an experience. I think this movie makes your day better. It doesn't matter which age you are. This movie just makes you happy.
That's it. It makes you want to smoke pot and drink beer and just have a good time.
Don't smoke pot, guys, and don't drink that.
Smoke pot and drink beer. With alcohol.
Listen to me. Like, be straight edge.
But yeah, it's a fun movie, man. Like you said, great cast, great directing, great acting. Just overall, enjoyable film.
Yeah. Do you have any other plans on the weekend? Is there any other magical Comic-Con that is just appearing in Florida? Because why not?
That's next week. Next weekend. Man, there's 2 shows. And I'm bummed because I want to go to Daytona Beach Comic-Con just to hang out with the guys. But then Fanboy Expo is the same weekend and fucking Samoa Joe's gonna be there. We got Samoa Joe, T.C. Carson, who's the voice of Kratos of God of War, the GTA 5 cast. Like, it's just so many people there, but I'm like, I'm already broke because, you know, meeting this man, DMC, it was awesome.
That was such a cool time, you know, with TNA back, because actually, you know, WWE really sucked like in the mid 2000s, and then Kurt Angle went to TNA, you had Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle. Those matches were so good, and of course a young AJ Styles, because fuck John Cena, WWE sucked back then.
They were serving John Cena so far in there, it's like,
I stopped, like, because of John Cena, and of course because I never forget how they fucked me over with December to Dismember.
Oh man,
I paid for this pay-per-view.
But yeah, this is like, Florida needs to stop with these shows, man.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: Spooky Empire. That's in October. Ernie Hudson's gonna be there.
Finally.
The gods have spoken. They say, Sean, you have an opportunity to see the great Ernie Hudson.
Maybe he still remembers you.
I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. But I am so thrilled to to see Ernie Hudson at Spooky Empire.
I believe it.
I'm going to meet him at his booth. I'm going to get the photo ops, and I hope they have the Ecto one there so we can do the photo ops on the Ecto one.
That's a must do. Like, you know, it's Ernie Hudson. It's one of the most underrated and best actors in history.
And matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure that weekend of Spooky Empire we got to do an Ernie Hudson film.
Yes, for sure.
Because I'm like, Ernie Hudson is one of those that whatever film he's in, he's guaranteed to be great in.
Absolutely, in every TV series. And he's always, doesn't matter what he does, he's always the heart and soul of the project this year.
Yeah, so.
Like, even in fucking Oz.
Yeah. And he was scummy in that. But yeah, he was a good kind of scummy. He wasn't like straight scummy.
I mean, it's hard to beat like the other. It's like he's sort of scummy.
Like, he was a scummy good warden, but at the same time, he's like, yeah, he's scummy.
It's hard to beat like Adebisi on a bad day.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't wait. And who they got what's his name? Walter Peck, the guy who played Walter Peck there too. William Athon. So
I'm pretty sure like he's
and Jace might join me because they got fucking Burt Gummer from the Tremors movie there. Michael Gross.
What the fuck is it like with fucking Florida? You have all the cool shit.
So he might get that Tremors, that Graboid poster he got signed by him. So overall, I'm looking forward to that. So I got a month and a half now for that.
I think we're all looking forward to October because October is the coolest month of the year.
Yep. But yes, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the next two videos. I don't know if there's a comic talk, but we've been MIA. I'm hoping that we get it going. But whenever there is a show, you will know.
Looking forward to it.
So other than that, do you have anything else to share?
Nothing. Looking forward tomorrow to Bash in Berlin, and otherwise just trying to get this fucking cold out of my throat.
Right. So we ain't had nobody in the chat, but you know, we enjoy doing this so much. Exactly. It doesn't matter if we had 0 views.
Exactly.
But we just want to have the closeout. Thanks to anybody that watches this now or watches the replay.
Or maybe watching this in 100 years from now.
Exactly. Just have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Later.